a friend, here's what to say. Let's talk in English, 10 minutes every day. When you need a friend, here's what to say. Let's talk in English, 10 minutes every day. That's the way.
Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Talk in English. My name is Garrett.
And my name is Esther. Today our topic is culture.
And our title is Old Wives' Tales. Now friends, that is an interesting phrase. What is an old wives' tale?
Well, an old wives' tale is a story or belief that people say is true, but not because of science or facts. But it's just because they've heard this for a long time. Their parents and their grandparents told them this.
Right, we call it an old wives' tale, but it doesn't always come from a wife or a grandmother, though it often does.
Right, these beliefs or stories are passed down from people who are older. We can call them from the older generation.
Exactly. Now friends, let's get to our reading.
Do you know any old wives' tales? You probably heard them from your mom, and she heard them from her mom. Many of these tales aren't true, but we talk about them anyway. For example, don't go outside with wet hair, or you'll catch a cold. If you drop food and pick it up in under 5 seconds, it is safe to eat. You should eat a lot when you have a cold, but only eat a little when you have a fever. And eating bread crusts makes your hair curly.
Well, thank you, Esther. Those are some interesting old wives' tales. Maybe you've heard some of these, friends, and we'll talk about them more in our lesson. And we'll try to find our Find It answer. Here's the question. What didn't work to make Julie's hair curly?
What didn't work to make Julie's hair curly?
Exactly. Well, friends, find the answer in our lesson today. Now, let's go over to Sonia to learn our keywords.
Greg 的洋芋片掉在地上，他马上捡起来吃。他说，掉地上5秒钟之内都是安全卫生的。可是 Julie 不这么认为，她说，食物掉到地板上，不管多快捡起来吃，都不安全。Picking up food off the floor and eating it isn't safe at any time. 片语动词 pick up 就是捡起来，而形容词 safe 就是安全的。Greg 还讲了一个好玩的传说，吃吐司边或是面包皮会让人头发变卷。Eating bread crusts will make your hair curly. 名词 bread 就是面包，而形容词 curly 就是卷曲的。还有人说，头发湿湿的不要外出，不然会感冒。Greg 问他，你是不是根本就不管，还是这样做了？ Did you do it anyway? 副词 anyway 就是仍然或还是怎样。
5-second rule.
That's not true, Greg. Picking up food off the floor and eating it isn't safe at any time.
I know. It's an old wives' tale. It's just for fun.
That's true. I know several old wives' tales.
Like what?
Eat a lot when you have a cold, but not when you have a fever.
Here at the beginning of our conversation, we hear Greg call out something I remember hearing a lot when I was a kid. He says 5-second rule.
Right, And he is saying this because Greg is eating chips, and one chip has fallen on the ground.
Right, but he still wants to eat it. And it hasn't been 5 seconds yet since the chip touched the ground, so it said, under the 5-second rule, it's still safe to eat it. It's still healthy.
Julie tells Greg that that's not true. Greg is wrong. Picking up food off the floor and eating it isn't safe at any time.
Right, I have seen experiments done on this on TV. Basically, once that chip touches the ground, it's already not safe to eat. If something is not safe, it's a little dangerous. It might hurt you. Here, it would hurt your health.
Right, and what did Greg do? Well, he picked up food from the ground. If you pick something up, you're using your hands to lift something up.
Right. You might have this kind of action when you're picking something up. Well, Greg says that this, the 5-second rule, is an old wives' tale. He still says it because it's just for fun, even though it's not true.
Right, and if you are married to someone, the woman is called your wife, W-I-F-E. Now, if there are many wives together, then we change that word and it becomes wives, W-I-V-E-S. Now, if many married women have a story or something that they say, then we can call these old wives' tale if it's something that's really not true, but passed down from the past.
That tale or story comes from them. Let's learn more about this with Sonia.
Greg 说5秒原则，他说这是个流传已久的民间传说。It's an old wives' tale. 句中的 wives 妻子们的是名词的所有格。我们来看相关的规则。第一个，单数名词加一撇加 s。My friend's mom is a great cook. 我朋友的妈妈是个很棒的厨师。第二个是复数名词直接加一撇。例句 The students' books are at the back of the classroom. 学生们的书在教室后面。还有一种是以 s 为结尾的名词加一撇。例句James' brother is taller than him. James 的哥哥比他高。
Thank you, Sonia. Well, this 5-second rule is an old wives' tale. It's not true. And Julie says she knows more tales like this.
Right, and Greg wants to know what they are. So he asks, like what?
Well, Julie shares. She says, here's one. Eat a lot when you have a cold, but not when you have a fever. Is this true?
This is not true. This is an old wives' tale. When you have a cold, there is a virus in your body, and you might have a runny nose, you might cough, or you might sneeze.
Yeah, so both of these are sicknesses. When you're sick, you might not want to eat as much. But eating some good, healthy food will always help you out when you're sick.
Right, and when you have a fever, your body is too hot. It needs to cool down. Friends, now it's time for a break. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Let's talk in English. 10 minutes every day. That's the way.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. It is so interesting how these old wives' tales continue to spread from people long ago. Even though they might not be true according to scientists, many people still believe them.
That's true, and different cultures have different old wives' tale, so something you believe in your culture might be different from what others believe.
That's right. Well, let's get back to our conversation.
Let me tell you another one. Eating bread crusts will make your hair curly.
My mom said that too, but it didn't work for me.
Because it's not true. Your mom just wanted you to eat all your food.
I know another one. Don't go outside with wet hair or you'll get a cold.
Did you do it anyway?
Yes. And I never got sick.
All right, so before the break, we heard an old wives' tale from Julie. She said that when you have a cold, you should eat more, and when you have a fever, you should eat less. We said that's just an old wives' tale. But what about this one that Greg shares?
Right. Greg tells Julie another old wives' tale. He says eating bread crusts will make your hair curly. Let's talk about some of those words. Let's start by talking about the word bread.
Bread is one of my favorite foods. Bread is a food you can eat with all sorts of things, like the outside of a sandwich is made of bread. It's cooked in the oven, and then you can cut it into slices.
Right. Usually you make it with flour, water, and maybe a little sugar or yeast. Now, when you bake it in the oven, the top part is called the crust. Sometimes it's brown and crispy.
Right. The crust is the whole outside of the bread. When you cut it into slices, you'll see a ring of crust all around it. Some people don't like to eat bread crust, so they'll cut that part off.
Right. And this tale says eating bread crusts will make your hair curly.
And some people would love to have curly hair. Curly hair has twists and turns in it. It's not straight.
And a long time ago, people spent a lot of time trying to make their hair curly. So that leads us to our Find It question and the answer. What didn't work to make Julie's hair curly?
Eating bread crusts didn't make her hair curly. So Julie did hear this old wives' tale from her mom, and it sounds like she tried it out.
Right. Julie probably wanted curly hair, but she tells us that it didn't work for her. She says, but it didn't work for me.
Yeah, but it didn't work for me. But hey, that is today's calendar phrase.
But it didn't work for me.
But it didn't work for me.
可是在我身上无效。
If you study, you'll get smarter.
But it didn't work for me.
If you exercise, you'll get stronger.
But it didn't work for me.
If you practice something, you'll get better at it.
But it didn't work for me.
If you eat too much, you'll get fat.
That really worked for me. I love eating.
But it didn't work for me.
But it didn't work for me.
可是在我身上无效。
Well, why didn't this work for Julie? Because it's not true. It doesn't work.
Right. And Greg tells Julie that her mom just wanted Julie to eat or finish all her food. Now, Julie tells us another old wives' tale.
Here it is. Don't go outside with wet hair or you'll get a cold. I think this is a really common old wives' tale. People are afraid that someone will get sick and get a cold if their hair is wet or if they don't wear enough.
Greg wonders and asks Julie, did you do it anyway? Sonia, can you help us with this word anyway?
Julie 说不要顶着湿头发外出，不然会感冒。Greg 说结果你还是这么做了吗？ Did you do it anyway? 副词 Anyway 置于句尾，意思是仍然或还是怎样。来看例句 ：She ate a piece of cake anyway. 她还是吃了一块蛋糕。或是 The man ate fast food for lunch anyway. 那位男士午餐还是吃了素食。Anyway 如果放在句首，就需要加上逗号，用来引起注意或是转变话题。来看例句 Anyway, how have you been? 对了，你最近过得如何？或是 Anyway, why don't you want to come with us? 那么你为什么不想和我们一起去呢？
Thank you, Sonia. So Julie did do this, and she tells us that she never got sick.
So even though it's an old wives' tale, she did it anyway, and it's worked out well for her so far. Friends, now let's go ahead and review our keywords.
Here is our first keyword. Anyway. Anyway. It's raining, but I'm going out anyway.
Pick up. Pick up. He dropped his phone and picked it up.
Safe. Safe. Is that safe to eat?
Bread. Bread. He ate some bread and peanut butter.
Curly. Curly. Jennifer has curly hair. Friends, those are today's keywords. You're doing a great job.
And now it's your turn.
The keywords for today are anyway, pick up, safe, bread, and curly. Now it's your turn to use them in a sentence. First one, the papers on the floor. You need a verb here. Pick up the papers on the floor. Next, let's have soup and for lunch. This is easy. Let's have soup and bread for lunch. Next, it's not to swim during a storm. You got it. It's not safe to swim during a storm. Next, Ed is busy, but he'll help. Isn't Ed nice? Ed is busy, but he'll help anyway. Last one. He looks good with hair. His hair isn't straight, it's good job. He looks good with curly hair. Great job, everyone. I'll see you next time for your turn.
Five-second rule.
That's not true, Greg. Picking up food off the floor and eating it isn't safe at any time.
I know. It's an old wives' tale. It's just for fun.
That's true. I know several old wives' tales.
Like what?
Eat a lot when you have a cold, but not when you have a fever.
Let me tell you another one. Eating bread crusts will make your hair curly.
My mom said that too, but it didn't work for me.
Because it's not true. Your mom just wanted you to eat all your food.
I know another one. Don't go outside with wet hair or you'll get a cold.
Did you do it anyway?
Yes, and I never got sick.
One, two, let's review.
Oops, I dropped my donut.
Hey, what are you doing? Don't eat that.
Why not? 5 seconds rule. It's safe.
No, it's not. Ew, don't eat it.
My mom says if you pick food up quickly, it's okay to eat.
But it's not. That saying is an old wives' tale.
An old wives' tale?
Yeah, people say it, but it's not true. Besides, you shouldn't be eating now. We're talking.
Well, I'm eating because I have a cold. My mom says, eat when you have a cold, but not when you have a fever.
David, that's another wives' tale too.
Really? What about eating bread crusts? Does that make your hair curly?
Well, no, it didn't work for me.
Me neither. What about going outside with wet hair? Can you get a cold from that?
Probably not.
Oh. Do you want a donut?
No thanks.
Don't give up. It's easy to say, here's a bright new day, but sometimes things go wrong. When your life's not going right, just sing a happy song. Nothing is impossible when you believe. Look to your Father up above. He knows just what you need. Don't give up. Don't give up. Nothing is impossible. Don't give up. Don't give up. People might do things that hurt you, make you feel so down and out. But remember all the friends who care, then you can sing and shout. Nothing is impossible when you believe. Look to your Father up above. He'll meet your every need. Don't give up. Nothing is impossible. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Esther, let's talk more about that last old wives' tale because I think a lot of people follow this. Do you go out with wet hair ever?
Well, I don't because I don't like to have wet hair.
And I don't usually. My hair dries pretty fast, and I usually wash it in the evening these days. But this is an old wives' tale. You won't automatically get sick for doing this, but you might be pretty cold.
Right, and when you do feel cold, maybe it's easier for you to catch a virus, but it's not directly related.
Exactly. Old wives' tales are interesting to learn about, even though they're not always true. Friends, we'll hope to see you again tomorrow for another great lesson, right here on Let's Talk in English. Goodbye.
Bye.